Darkness envelops you. All your senses rendered void, as a momentary feeling of inexistence can be expressed as an eternity. Owl's Bane had chosen to peer into a time parallel to their own. Absent of their influence, to witness the passage of time through the eyes of the Dragon Lords of the Ereburn Council. Your vision returns, as this Chronicle of the End begins. Atop a lonely mountain, at its peak, 10 mighty spires extend far into the stormy clouds above. Each of these rocky fangs act as a seat to the members of a certain council of ancient dragons. The wind here within these storm clouds are about as turbulent as the atmosphere shared between the imposing figures. With its tail coiled around its rocky throne, a striking red dragon breaks the silence, its back lined with what seem like exhaust vents that occasionally spit fire as the mighty dragon breathes. Behold, Akatu, King of Mount Enoch. We have not needed to convene in over a millennia, and you choose the worst conditions I've seen. Rendre, Galdan, you better have a good reason to disturb my slumber. A dragon clad in silver scale, with 8 metallic horns, 4 acting as a crown while the others extend from the base of its jaw. Revere Galdan, the living Athenium. Akatu! We do not hold these meetings lightly. Each of us have our own conquest, but that all will come to a premature end if what Empress Rendre and I have found is the truth. And you can thank Zynex for the weather. But it isn't without purpose. This is his anti-magic storm. We asked for its presence, as this conversation need not the eyes and ears of outsiders. Deep blue spikes line the dragon's spine from its head to the tip of its long extended tail. Each of the spikes connected to one another by an unbroken chain of lightning. The storm surrounding this meeting joining in as rogue streaks of lightning find its way to the rod-like spikes on its back. Enter Zynex, the Eye of the Storm. My creation blinds us from the eyes of even the gods. We are all weaker within, so let's keep this as civil as dragonly possible, lest Zerakin become the last member of Ereburn. A familiar black dragon joins in on the budding conversation. His face just as terrifying as you all remember, with the very peak he rests on, slowly burning beneath him. Beware, Zala, the mortal plague. Zynex, we have had our war, and this council the result. Even Zerakin knows we possess that which he does not. Yes, your storm provides him with the perfect opportunity to kill at least a few of us. But I would wager these past few centuries have taught him our usefulness, and a bit of temperance, if only a little. Atop the shortest spire, which is encircled by channels of wind, sits the smallest of the council. White scales, barbed claws, frayed wings lined with sharp spines, its head and neck seemingly blending into one another, with its horns tall, emerging from its high-crested skull. Run, Neil, the scourge of Ontaria. You spend too much time with mortals, Zala. If you think your cunning would work in this council, think again. Your puppeteering is impressive, but those skills are worthless in the eyes of individuals that actually matter.
Perched on the second largest spire, sitting quietly in wait, an armored behemoth, its impressive musculature blending seamlessly into its bronze scales that seem more akin to armor plates. From between the scales are streams of sand that slowly fall across its large form. Quiver before Berask, pharaoh of the Anubian desert.
Kneel. You choose your words only to create discourse. Its purpose truly meaningless. Know your place. Remember what happened to Sorezan after we learned of his betrayal. You may share his fate if you continue to trek down those dunes.
Seemingly uninterested, the green-scaled terror observes the other members of Ereburn. Multiple spines extend out of its back, wings and head, as they slowly release a hazardous gas at their ends. His form familiar and exponentially more terrifying outside of a hidden chamber near Lake Iona. Witness Mizara, the verdant nightmare.
Why do we wait in noise? Why do you all waste your breath? The judge will soon be here. And then I'm curious as to how chatty you all are.
A breathtakingly beautiful, gold-clad dragon sits elegantly atop a spire, with wings decorated in shapes and patterns that merge and disperse hypnotically, like a masterwork of art. Honor, Haldar, treasurer of the Shinzen Horde.
All this worthless banter is making me hungry. I heard forces, a regiment of Corintha's army, are moving east over Azul toward Oda. They should make for a great evening snack. Oh. It looks like your concerns have taken flight. Watch your tongues, boys, and let's make it through this meeting in one piece.
The storm clouds part, as a palpable tension can be felt atop Mount Ereburn. The sound of thunder masked by the deafening wing beats of the last elder dragon. Its platinum scales reflecting the blinding lightning strikes, illuminating the surrounding clouds. A single fang could cast a shadow large enough to cover a homestead. Its wingspan almost double that of any other dragon currently sitting atop Mount Ereburn. The very earth that holds the rest of the council quakes as it makes landfall. Its claws digging into the larger spire, its breath echoes through the now silent mountaintop, as the rest of the Ereburn Council kneel in respect. The aspect of justice, Bahamut's chosen, Zerakin, the last judge.
Raise your heads, Ereburn. I apologize for arriving late. But let's not waste any more time, as like the beat of a mortal heart, it too is fleeting. Gul'dan, summoning the council is no small event. I expect the revelation to come be that of significant import. It is of great import, and with the arrival of our judge, we may commence. I simply sent word of this meeting. It was Rendre who had asked me. I do believe what she has discovered may spell the worst. And as this council was created to prevent such calamities that has plagued Ethar's history, We should take action now, before we too follow the wing beats of our ancestors. Please, Rendre, I have a tendency to steer off topic, mayhaps. You paint the picture of the reality we will soon face.
Breathtaking is the sight of hundreds of thousands of emerald gemstones that make up her entire form. Her wings glitter with her thinner skin covered in gem dust. Her gentle yet fierce visage a sight to behold, as her emerald crown completes the truest image of grace. Kneel before Empress Rendre, guardian of the wilds.
It is most humbling seeing you all here after this long a time. But I am truly in need of help. Then again, we all are. I had spent the last decade in a meditative slumber within my forest, with the sole aim of reconnecting with the essence of Ethar itself. And therein, visions and voices of a people long forgotten, sending warnings of a ruin that is coming. These echoes only providing a few pieces of this puzzle, but enough for me to follow the threads, and what I found, well, the presence of the Dark Sun has returned to Ethar.
An audible gasp shared atop Mount Ereburn at the mention of the Dark Sun.
This cannot be true. The old gods are long dead, their champion along with them. Why is it that none of us have felt their presence? How certain are you, Rendre? I speak the truth. Our sight does not extend far enough to sense its existence, but Ethar itself has spoken to me. Ruin is coming. This is extremely concerning. But is there nothing we can do about it? Surely there are loose threads that may lead us to the means to stop his arrival. Even my astraloscope cannot detect such traces of divinity. But that's not the only issue we face. Currently, I have learned of a new alliance that has been operating somewhere in eastern Ethar, that have been making erratic and potentially destructive moves that may spell the end to Corintha's conquest. Explain to me what a mortal squabble and a lost deity have in common, Galtan, you fool. Well, Akatu, in order to truly fight against this foretold threat, we must harness the full power of Ereburn. We are gathered. We are present. We are at full might. Why would that change, Galdan? Well, Zynex, my astraloscope has detected a vast amount of magics being gathered near Numor, an amount that rivals the combined might of Ereburn. Impossible. No mortal army could ever rival even half of Ereburn. It's true, you have finally lost your mind, Galdan. Silence, Neil, lest I rip out your tongue. I sense sincerity from him and Rendre. Let them continue unhindered by your worthless opinions. Thank you, Zerakin. Migration paths have shifted. Ocean currents have begun to change. But most importantly, the natural gateways within Ilu have begun to dwindle. Ethar itself is preparing. My thanks, Zerakin. My sources within this new alliance have spoken of a plan to permanently separate a large portion of Ethar from the rest. If this is accomplished, our influence will essentially be cut in half. And any hope of finding a way to stop his arrival will be gone.
You have brought forward a scenario quite dire, Rendre. Gul'dan, what is our battle plan against this?
Well, we separate Ereburn. Myself, Mizara, Zala, and Barask will travel to the epicenter of this gathering of magic and await this split. At least then we will have our influence on either side.
This alone will not be enough, as the odds of our victory are slim. We need a failsafe of sorts. I have flown to our Leonin friend on the island of Nimthrad for more information on a theory I have been working on, and that is where it dawned on me. The Fallorians of old had created a network of memories that could be stored and kept as a library of sorts. It has the ability to tie individuals together and capture their memories through the passing of time. That can be accessed at any point, past and future. A creation known as a world tree. And there are still few seeds left in existence.
If we can harness the power of the old Fallorians, even if we fail to stop his arrival, we can store some memory of a way to stop this, or at least let it serve as a way to warn our past selves of our mistakes.
There is one problem with the world tree. It will erase the knowledge of its existence from those who have planted it with time. Only Rendre has the ability to store her memory within the forests of Elo. So her part in this will be crucial. We must imbue the seed of the world tree with our combined power and plant it within the confines of Eastern Ethar. As per the ancient text, a second seed will soon appear. Rendre will be tasked with holding on to this seed, and as well as finding a suitable person or group of people that will inherit the memories of our demise.
Akatu and Neil will need to head to Old Forlor to acquire the seed. Barask, Mizara, and Zala will need to establish a suitable point to plant the seed. I will begin to store my memory, and the rest will aid Gul'dan in preparing the binding process.
We have no other choice. I have decided that we will commence with this course of action post-haste. The power of the Dark Sun is not to be underestimated. We will need to wipe all memory of this meeting soon after creating the World Tree. If we have his name on our minds, we will be hunted. Best be cautious. Now, all in favor, I wish to hear your roar echo through Mount Ereburn.
As the members of Ereburn release a thunderous chromatic display of fire breath, a plan is set in motion. The visions start to appear in glimpses. From this point onwards, as you experience the next few millennia in a few moments, you see the planting of the seed, another meeting of the dragons of Ereburn within a bustling stone village located on the island of Nimthrad. You witness the dragons joining their immense strength to imbue the seed of this world tree. The ancients begin to return to their domains within Ethar, having supposedly lost memory of this whole escapade. The next vision seemingly hazy, momentary glimpses of untold history with no context, heated battles, intriguing dialogue, and mundane occurrences all too quickly moving in front of your eyes to make sense of it. The speed of these visions suddenly slowed down, perhaps purposefully, highlighting key moments throughout the history of Ereburn. More specifically, the demise of the Council itself. First, Mizara, the verdant thunder, trapped by chains within a familiar darkened and damp chamber. His power being siphoned as the vision shifts to an army of undead merfolk, claiming the seas around Atlan, while Mizara, depleted of all power, slowly rots away in an ancient temple. Next, a vision of Neil, the scourge of Antaria. An army of Wyvern riders over 1,000 strong attack the ancient, bringing him plummeting toward Ethar. You open your eyes to watch Akatu, king of Mount Enoch, who is stopped mid-flight towards what looks like the Kaloon from beyond. A giant magical dome that is quickly cracking from all sides. He is stopped by a rogue arrow that pierces the dragon straight through the heart. As he falls, you watch as the Kaloon disappears before Akatu's eyes, as one of the suns that mark the sky has an immediate eclipse, darkening the world. That confusing sight replaced by Zalar, the mortal plague, in human form, being held at the throat by a large figure, a hook as a hand, and a large black gem hidden behind his even larger beard, slowly draining the king of pirates' life force. The rest of his features appear slightly muddied. You watch as a blade quickly separates his head from his body, and just as quickly you see another vision flash before your eyes. Berask, pharaoh of the Anubian desert, being held deep underwater by thousands of chains. You watch as slowly bubbles escape the gargantuan creature's maw, slowly diminishing as life is taken from yet another member of the Council. Rendre, guardian of the wilds, can now be seen within a dying forest. The trees without leaf, the soil void of life, and the air filled with the stench of death. She stares at an altar that looks to hold something, but is currently empty, as she slowly kneels on weakened knees, lets out one final desperate roar, and soon crashes down, lifeless. Gul'dan, Zynex, and Halda are next, as the three of them can be seen upon the battlefield. Orcs, humans, elves, dwarves, and the rest all fighting one another in a crazed desperation. The battlefield covered in the darkness of a total eclipse, only illuminated by the distant light of the Palace of Nimor. Upon the battlefield, shaking Ethar itself, is a titan of old, impossibly tall, as dozens of soldiers are completely crushed with each step towards the capital, Nimor. The three dragons join this titan in its attack of the capital, as they all stop to witness the eclipsed sun shining brighter. The armies engaged in battle all stop to witness as Ethar itself begins to split, pulling the dragons and everything else towards the cracks within Ethar, as the earth implodes and swallows the once powerful dragon lords. Upon a broken Ethar, far from the light of Nimor where the initial split began, on a barren plain covered in darkness and light of the eclipse above, stands the aspect of justice, Zerakin. 5 hooded figures approach the elder dragon. One steps forward, a 9-foot-tall, imposing figure, nowhere near comparable in size to the last judge. Chains emerge from the giant's robes, as they quickly extend to fully encompass the dragon, as you watch Zerakeen slowly decompose, his flesh dying in mere moments, as the final member of the Ereburn Council meets his end. And at that moment, you feel the sense of inexistence once more. An infinite instant passes before you arrive back in front of Messailandra, surrounded by the corpses of 10 dragons you now share a sense of familiarity with, as you complete your glimpse into the Chronicle of the Dragon Lords of Ereburn.